All right, well, that's a good start. Hello, David. Hope you're doing well. As normal, just getting this out there, making sure people know. And once I am done with that, then I will get the screen rolling. But all right, I think we're good. Oh, no, not that one. Yeah, let's try that. Okay, there we go. Okay, get the screen on in a minute. I always forget which way to go. But yes, we have a lot to talk about tonight, actually. Hello, Sean. Hope you're doing well. I guess I should get my chat up here and not on my phone. Just making sure that everything posted. But yes, as I was just saying, we have a lot to talk about today. I'll turn my screen on now. So obviously we got 3 championships coming up, 3 championship 4 races for NASCAR. No F1 for a couple weeks. Next time they're back is Las Vegas. But, oh my goodness, do we have so much to talk about. You'll see in the title of this live stream I put we are reviewing evidence. I feel like Michael Jordan's lawyer, Jeffrey Kessler, which, by the way, that's another topic we have to address, is that one of the hearings was happening today in the federal court for the 2311 and front row versus NASCAR. So Michael Jordan, Denny Hamlin, Curtis Polk, Bob Jenkins, they were all at the courthouse today. Jim France was there. So, but as you can see on top of my, that's the wrong screen. As you can see up here, we have a bunch of Twitter links up here. We're going to look at some of the radio communication between the teams and the drivers, what happened yesterday. Obviously, if you know what happened, you've seen the replays enough, and I'll probably get copyrighted. I might even get copyrighted for this. I don't really know. But we're going to look at it. We are going to review it, as I said in the video title or live stream title, whatever we want to call this, and we're going to attempt to break it down. Welcome, Robert. Still no DBC today. I listened to Hamlin's podcast. I don't really listen to that one much, but Hamlin, as always, has some good insights. He has some good opinions. You know, he knows what he's talking about. I think it's safe to say. But there are a lot of opinions after what happened with Bell and Byron and Chastain, Austin Dillon. I mean, we're talking about 3 guys who completely missed the playoffs in our cutoff race for a championship. So, isn't that fun? But get a good look at these standings for a second. I guess we can talk about the championship 4 later. But I do have this up here. I want you to just absorb the information because I'm going to bring some statistics up here. But Denver, hello, welcome back. Hope you're doing well. You say that, hey, the Supercars' new playoffs are a lot better than NASCAR's playoff systems, I say. If you compare the Supercars' playoffs to the NASCAR playoffs, I guarantee you take the Supercars' playoffs any day. I personally would take no playoffs of any sort in motorsports. I've got to be honest, I'm not too familiar with. I know, like, the Supercars playoffs, I think they split the season in thirds. Correct me if I'm wrong. Like, the first third, everyone's alive, and then they chop it down to, like, 10, and then they chop it down to, like, 4 for the final race or something. I could be wrong there, but I'm personally just a fan of a season-long format. Excuse me if that's a problem. You may like the playoffs that Supercars is about to implement. We haven't seen it yet. But as for the NASCAR playoffs, I've had to sit through it for 10 years, and I don't like it. So that's my opinion. Okay. I apologize. I'm probably going to pronounce your name wrong, and apologies. Amafuel? Once again, Apologies. If I ever mispronounce anyone's name, it's not intentional. I apologize. But your question is, hello, thoughts on Bell and Larson missing the Final Four? Oh, I have thoughts. It's a shame. It really is. Those were arguably the two best guys all year. Larson had the most wins. Bell was tied for the second most wins. Those two were the most consistent all season long. Bell has arguably been the best driver in the playoffs. I know he hasn't won a race in the playoffs, but he's been the most consistent. If you look at the first two cutoff races, he advanced mid-race because he had such a big points buffer. And if you look at this race coming in, he had a really big points buffer once again, but it was, what was it, plus 29, I want to say? I could be wrong there. But he had a big points buffer, and they kind of blew it. In the system they're in, they blew it. There's no other way to put it. They ran bad all day long, kind of like Harvick in 2020. So it's upsetting. And the irony is that if you look at the four guys eliminated yesterday, Bell, Larson, Elliott, Hamlin, look at these numbers compared to these numbers. With all due respect to these four, this is your regular season champion, so yes, I would for sure listen to an argument for him. But Larson, most wins, tied for most top fives. Bell, tied for most top fives, most top tens. Both of these guys have led over 1,000 laps. Hamlin has led almost 1,000 laps, has won 7 stages on the year. He has more top 10 or top fives than this guy has top tens, 18 top tens as well. And then you look at Elliott. Elliott had, I think he has the best average finish this year. So he doesn't quite have the top fives and top tens. He has a lot of them, don't get me wrong. But he has the best average finish. I think he has like 2 finishes worse than 25th. Correct me if I'm wrong there. So it's mind-blowing. It's truly mind-blowing. Anyways, back to the comments before I get too far off. Daniel Berry Sports Highlights, welcome back. Hope you're doing all right. Trophy Trout 14, first question of the night. Do you think NASCAR should have made it just simple and DQ'd both Bell and Byron and just give it to Larson? That's what I think in my opinion. Yes, Trophy Trout 14. I think it should have been considered. I think that... See, here's my problem. Is that, yes, I agree with you. I think that Bell and Byron did nothing wrong. He literally did nothing wrong. But he got help from behind because the race was manipulated, which, by the way, here in a couple minutes, we're about to listen to the audio, the radio. But he got help from behind. There were guys not passing him. It's race manipulation. Sure, he didn't do anything wrong, but he was helped, kind of like Truex in 2013. So I think he should get kicked out. I think Bell's wall ride, I didn't think it was a wall ride. I mean, for like a quarter of a corner, once he hit the wall, he kept going, yeah. But he made it 3/4 of the way around, not hitting the wall. But then once he got to the wall, he kind of just kept going, like he floored it. And he didn't make up any time. He actually had a slower lap time than everyone but Bubba Wallace on that lap. But my problem with Bell being in is that it's the same reason as Byron. The 23 was not that slow. Now, once they did inspect the 23 after the race. Nothing has come out yet, but NASCAR is reviewing the incident. They've put out an official statement. The 23 was held. They're checking to make sure, like, if something was actually broken on the 23, if they actually had a tire going down, then okay. It was just a really unfortunate timing for them to get all this heat on them. That's just really unfortunate timing. But if it comes out that there was no damage on that car, that the tires were fine, and that it was a true tank, essentially, for Bell to get the position, then Bell should be kicked out. But the problem is that you're trying to punish the teams and the manufacturers, in a sense, from doing this again. Well, kicking Byron and Bell out, obviously that Joe Gibbs Racing is going to get the biggest hit because they don't have a guy in the Final Four. But replacing Byron with Larson, that doesn't really teach Hendrick Motorsports a lesson because you still got a guy in the Final Four. And another problem with it is you can't just go to the next guy because that's Hamlin, a Gibbs guy. And then the next guy is Elliott, a Hendrick guy. It's just, It's mind blowing. I understand that KJ says, I understand you're upset. I just want to say I like both the chase and the elimination format, but I prefer the chase since I grew up with it from 2011 to 13. And you're allowed to have that opinion. I fully respect that. You're allowed to like this format. No one is telling you you can't. I just feel strongly the opposite way. I don't like it. I don't think this is how we should crown our champion. Denny Hamlin described it great in his podcast today when he said it waters down NASCAR superstars. It's no disrespect to this year's Final Four, but come on. I mean, the biggest one I got a problem with, it's nothing personal against him, but Joey Logano has the same amount of top tens. Sorry, he has less top tens than Christopher Bell and Kyle Larson have top fives, and he's tied with how many top fives Hamlin has, one less than Elliott has. He made it over these guys and him. It's mind-boggling. Really is. Let's see here. Supercars has 2 trophies, the Sprint Cup, the Enduro Cup in season. The 2 Cup winners get an automatic playoff spot, and the last 8 races will be regular season points. So that kind of sounds like the original chase format for NASCAR, I guess. So, I mean, it just doesn't do anything for me. I'm sorry. It doesn't do anything for me. Michael says, I like the playoff format. It ramps up the stakes, and it's plain to see. If any penalties should be given, they should be given fines to the 23 1-3 teams, and points should be taken away for next season. Okay, I tell you what, Michael, that last sentence there is not a bad idea. Because taking points away this year would do some harm in a sense, and, I don't even know where these guys are sitting. The 23 is 17th, the 1 is 19th, and they're separated by 14 points. So actually, that could be a hit. But they're going to finish 18th and 19th because they'd have to have like a 200-point penalty to fall back to Kyle Busch. Who was the other one involved? The 1, the 23, and the 3. We got to go way down for him. So, yeah, I guess it could play a little bit more of a factor for them. But I kind of like what you say. Apply the penalty to next season. Have them start out in a hole. Have them, before the season even starts, having to go a different approach than everyone else for the blatant race manipulation. So, yeah, I actually like that idea. That's not a bad idea. I got to give you credit. I hadn't thought of that. Not a bad idea, for sure. Off-season live streams, yes, those will happen. I got one I want to do, but that will be announced after Phoenix, so we'll do that. I'll announce it after Phoenix. Good racing. Yeah, that's another thing that's so frustrating is we had our best Martinsville race in the next gen era. Tire fall off was there. Guys could go up through. Ryan Blaney on that last run went from like 11th to 1st. He was incredible. It was fantastic. It was extremely impressive to watch. But we're not talking about it. We'll talk about it a little bit. We did talk about it a little bit last night, but that should be one of the main topics. That should be a top 2 topic. And now it feels like it's 6th in line. We've got the Bell disqualification essentially for the wall ride. We got Chevy race manipulation. Toyota race manipulation. What else do we have? We have the 23. Did his car actually break? The 1 in the 3's radio. The 1's was not as bad. The 3's what? Speaking of, we're doing this now. Get the volume up. The first one I want to go to. We are now reviewing evidence from last night, the radio. First of all, funny tweet alert from Christopher Bell. Yeah, look at this caption. Just a couple of guys missing a bow tie, which is in reference to Chevrolet. They are called bow ties. Everyone laugh. But seriously, elite caption. Next up, Ross Chastain's radio. There's really not as much here. I think it's like somewhere up here. But so basically, when we get to the 3's radio, you'll see what happens. That one's more blatant, but here they just... I'll just let you listen. Also, I don't know how the copyright...
With the 24 here down there, door. Still down there. Is one to the good. 1 point
right there.
To the good down there.
Okay. So that's not as problematic as what the 3 ends up saying. But they tell Chastain the 24 is 1 point to the good. And see, if that's some sort of code word, or it's not really code word. It's just they're telling him straight up what the situation is. But the situation here is that if they've more thoroughly described it, like if they said, hey, Ross, the 24 here is only 1 point to the good. He's going to race extra aggressive. Like, you got to be careful. If he does something, really aggressive, pushes you up the track, bumps you, just don't be surprised. Like, this guy's fighting for his life here. If they said all that, then it's like, okay, they were just warning him of the potential of what could happen if he goes side by side. If he gets, in front of Byron, Byron's probably going to shove him out of the way or force him up the racetrack or who knows. So Chastain just be aggressive, but he just says, hey, 24 is 1 point to the good. And once again, it's not egregious. You could overanalyze it like I am, or it could truly be nothing. And they were just telling him, hey, he's 1 to the good. Just be a little careful around him if he gets squirrely and starts acting wild. Also shout out to this account on Twitter. I'll zoom in here. At Basso488 Andrew posts all the onboards, or almost all the onboards that are relevant. All the audio, the radio. It's a good follow on Twitter. Also very, very efficient on the timing. So next up, we're going to go to Austin Dillon. And this is where, yeah.
Just be cognizant of these HMS. Just be cognizant of these HMS cars, playoff cars today. More will do.
That's pretty obvious. I mean, let's be cognizant of those HMS cars today. I mean, what does that mean? Is that saying, like, when they come over to pass you, like, just fold and just let them go? Does that mean, what? It could mean a lot of things, but it's a little suspicious. But then it gets worse on the 3 Teams radio.
Brandon, that 24 is only 2 points to the good right now, and there's 2 spots between them. 24 to go. The 24 is only 2 spots to the good right now. Points.
So, right there, they tell Austin Dillon, they say, hey, the 24 is 2 points to the good. He cannot lose 2 spots. They yelled that. And this is like before Hamlin is even past the 24 car. So, yep.
If we pass him, he'll be out. Who's he racing? He just can't give up spots.
All right, so there. They come over the radio and they tell him once again, he can't lose 2 spots or he's out. Like, he's done. He can't lose 2 spots. Be aware, the 24 cannot lose spots. And this is about 4 hours after, at the beginning of the race, before they rolled off pit road, they told him, hey, remember, be aware of those Hendrick drivers.
Keep me posted on this changes. 1 out 77, 1 with it. You know the deal? Trying to find him and tell him. Justin, you tell crew chief also clear off. Out they go! 10-4, Is it one crew chief know the deal?
You know, the 3 team really just needs to turn off their radios. I mean, at Richmond, the spotter comes over the radio and he says, what did he say? He said, wreck him, when the 11's trying to pass him, and Austin Dillon wrecks him and then gets kicked out of the playoffs. So, you know, that's odd. And then he gets suspended. And now they're coming over the radio saying, hey, remember the deal? Hey, does the 1 know the deal? If the 1's on the other side of the racetrack, who cares? I don't even know what that would mean if they said that. But no, the 1 and the 3 are side by side, or they are nose to tail at this moment that they are saying this. And that's pretty obvious. That's pretty blatant. Just mind-boggling stuff here.
Yeah, it should. I have some those. I just pulled them. We'll see outside the 1. Oh, there. Sure. Still outside. Still outside. Even 1. There's him with us.
I can't remember if anything else happens. I'm going to go to the comments real quick, see what the comments are saying. Okay, we were about here. KJ says, I'm sick of people saying on social media that sport sucks or it's dying or it's dead when it's clearly not. Trash again. I mean, people are going to over-exaggerate, say NASCAR is dead and whatnot, but people say that all the time and it's fine. So people like to over-exaggerate or they like to get clicks. Is it possible to blow a 50-point lead in one race? Yeah, the max points you can get is 60, but that includes winning, so that would launch someone in. So 55, I think, 56 or above clinches. So 55 points, you would have to finish last, and the other person would have to win both stages and finish second in the race. Do I think the NASCAR playoffs are too long? Well, as a professional NASCAR playoff hater, I think they're too long because they exist. But it's a solid question. I don't think I have a good answer without being negative. So apologies. Jamie says, how about that Team Penske? Yeah, we'll do our I'll let you guys do your Monday picks at the end. I will not be making picks tonight because I have individual videos set up for each championship. So it'll probably be like Wednesday Trucks, Thursday Xfinity, Friday Cup, and we'll do our championship previews. And I'll make my picks. I'll pick 1 through 4 and say who I think is going to be the champion, give preview, give stats of who's really good at Phoenix and all that stuff. And, well, yeah. So no Monday picks tonight, but I want to hear your Monday picks at some point. But, yeah, Team Penske, they got a 50% chance. Jamie says, I say new format, winning you're in is gone. Top 10 in the points, get in the playoffs, eliminating one car after each race in the playoffs. And the finale involve the top 3 closest to first wins. Well, that could get fluky. That could get fluky too, because you know what if Larson's the best guy all year, like this year, and like Atlanta, he blows a tire or whatever it was, or he loses the car. Well, if he loses the car, I guess that's his own fault. But really, you're gonna punish him for one bad race? Like, just once again, like, I don't know what to tell you. Let's see. A lot of people are going to hate me for this, but I like the winning you're in format. Help smaller teams. That's my opinion. That's definitely, I mean, I think that's a big benefit in a sense to those teams, like you said. But I just am so negative towards the playoffs. You're not going to get a good opinion out of me, I guess. Tori said they need to question the hell out of the spotter for Bubba and Richard Childress spotter that are on door bumper clear. If they are going to have playoffs, then shorten the number of cars and have them race for points every race. Give me today tech. Thank you for the nice words. I appreciate it. But yeah, I guess let's go back and listen to this.
Stop South there. North. South there. Line up.
All right, so here's when they're side by side, obviously. So we heard at the beginning of the race. We heard, what did we hear? We heard about whatchamacallit? The three saying, hey, be aware of those Hendrick guys. And then we heard about the, hey, do you remember the deal? Does the one know about the deal? I mean, the three audio is just blatantly oblivious or dumb. They're pretty, I'm just so flabbergasted by this.
South there, even. Line up. South there to 1. South side 177 with him. Even.
And here's another thing. I was thinking about this last night. Could you imagine the scenario where William Byron, if he loses one spot, he's eliminated, and the guy who eliminates him is Chris Buescher? Because Keselowski is the first one behind, right here. We have Dillon on the outside. We have Chastain over here on the outside. Well, imagine that Buescher is the one that's 1 point out, and Keselowski is right behind Dillon. I think if they come over the radio and they tell Brad Keselowski, hey, Chris is 1 point out. He's one lap down, so he can't pass anyone. Byron has to lose a position, and he's 2 cars in front of you. I think Keselowski would have finally got to the point pretty quickly that he would have shoved the 3 into the 1, sent them both up the racetrack, and then he would have went and passed Byron. Now, I don't know if he would have bumped Byron out of the way immediately. The way Byron was struggling, I think Keselowski could have gotten by him pretty easy. But if that was the situation, I'm just saying. Or if that's the 54 behind the 3 and the 1. If that's the 11. I know the 11 was in his own playoff battle, but at that point, if the 11's running back here, he's basically eliminated. So help your teammate, I guess. So, yeah. It's... Honestly, I can't remember if they say anything else. They might not. I can't remember.
Next to go!
I'm going to go to the last lap when Bubba shows up. Okay, here we go. Right about. Let's go here. Okay. So there's 23 up there.
Still 3 bottom, still 3 bottom, still 3, all there. Go back to the check about 1 to the 1, 2 to the bottom of 6. Outside, 1, outside. Out there, bumper clear. Checker flag. Nice work, boys. Great job, man. Hey, man, I'm really proud of you today, buddy. Great job all day. Good crew. Guys, Brandon, thank you, man. It's a hell of a run right there, bud. Good way to recover from that speed penalty early.
All right, so that's it on Austin Dillon. So in conclusion on Austin Dillon, they come over the radio before the race, and they say, hey, remember the deal? Or no, they say that later. They say, just be aware of those Hendrick cars out there today that are in the playoffs. And then later they say, hey, remember the deal? Does the 1 remember the deal? As they're running side by side right behind the 24. It's odd. very odd. Very odd. What are you going to do? David says Chevy helped teammate, Toyota helped teammate. Yeah, let's go to the 23's audio here. Oh, yeah, there may be bad language. Apologies for not warning.
So 5 to 24, all you got, Brady.
Okay, so right there, I would say that's fair game. They tell him fight the 24 as hard as you can, race as hard as you can, race him hard, race him tough. I think that's fine, just as long as they don't come over the radio and say, hey, take out the 24. Like, I think that's fine.
Relay to him. 10-4, I will. 24 is a half straightaway line. Next position out back is the 20. 20 is just into 3. Tell him how far back the 20 is, Brady. Position. 10 to go at the line here. 10 to go at the line. 5 back 11, then 10 to the 24. 24 and 20 are separated by a point right now. So about half a straightaway back on the 20. You'll be coming back to 5 to go.
Okay, so 5, this is important. 5 laps to go at this point. This is when Byron, at this point, he's had Chastain and Dillon side by side right behind him for almost 10 laps at this point. I don't know how far. I guess they'll tell us, but yeah, 5 laps to go. This is, I think, right before Bubba's tire or his mechanical problem.
Keep it up there. Keep it up there.
All right, so this is what, 5-4 to go. This is the first instance where we see Bubba go up the racetrack, misses the turn, or they may have truly had a mechanical problem, truly had a tire problem, and we see him wash up the racetrack, go up the racetrack, and that's the first example of it.
So you're right.
You see him wiggling a little bit.
Cleaned up good.
All right, so right there. Listen to this. Listen to the...
Next group just opposite. Next group just opposite.
I don't know if that's a missed shift. I don't know if that's over revving. I don't know if that's something breaking. I don't know what that is, but that's a weird sound, I guess, when you listen to the rest of how he accelerates.
Sorry, 3 to go, Tony. 3.
3 to go. 3. Okay, so
I think I got a tire going down.
there it is. 3 laps to go. Bubba comes over the radio, says, I think I got a tire going down. Okay. He thinks he has a tire going down. He's 1 lap down. I don't know if he's the free pass car at this point, because that's where it gets a little bit more complicated. Because if you're the lucky dog, if you are the first guy to get your lap back and you're trying to survive, hope that someone else spins and wrecks, you're back on the lead lap and you can pit under caution. But at the same time, there's 3 laps to go. Do you really want to be a factor in the championship? I don't get why you wouldn't pit unless you're waiting for the team to confirm to you if you have a tire down.
Or just nurse it home, nurse it home.
There you go, nurse it home.
Got a big gap.
See, he goes wide again. You can tell he's wobbling.
Keep rolling. 2 to go.
So he's just got to survive 2 laps. He's wobbling, he's swerving, he's doing all this, and a supposed problem with 3 to go.
Send him to 45, head of fire.
Okay, so that, tell him the 45 had to fire. That is in reference to Tyler Reddick, his teammate. They had some sort of mechanical problem earlier in the race, and that caused Reddick to have to go to the garage. The car caught on fire. Reddick's okay. Everyone's okay, except for the car. So Reddick had to leave the race early due to a fire. Same team, same manufacturer, same a lot. So maybe it's something similar, braking.
Just off at 2. Just off at 2. Coming to 2 to go. Coming to 2. Sorry, coming to white here. Coming to white. Coming to white. Just hold it up top of this whole group.
All right. I'm going to rewind that so you can hear. So this is coming to the last lap of the race. Last lap, a potential problem, potential tire down. We know the 45s had a mechanical problem. Here's the last lap.
Sorry, coming to white here. Coming to white. Coming to white. Just hold it up top of this whole group here. Hold it up top of this whole group. Hold it up top. Coming to the white.
That's the leaders.
Hold it up top. Hold it up top. Hold it up top. Got a big group coming here. Big group coming on the bottom. Hold it up here. Hold it up. Hold it up top. Hold it up top. 2 back to the 20. Going to be on the bottom. Inside 20. Hold it up top here. Keep holding it up top.
All right, so there you have it. That whole group, the leaders, what were they running? 6th through 10th, plus a couple lap cars at that point. They come up. Bubba gets out of the way. He goes wide, or he misses the corner because of his damage or his tire or whatever. And then here comes Bell, sends it down the inside and passes him, and Bubba's trying to avoid it, and then Bell does his quarter wall ride. So, just so much to process here. And then Bubba in his post-race interview, I guess I could theoretically get that pulled up. I'm going to go to the comments, then we'll actually pull up the interview there. Where were we? Get me today, exclamation point. How do I make videos? Okay. Unrelated to this incident, I'm going to answer this question. I would say if you want to make videos online, just be yourself. I mean, give opinions. Don't be too crazy, obviously. As long as you're yourself and happy, I'd say go for it. Go crazy. Not too crazy. But just be mindful, improve as you go on. I mean, I'm no professional at this thing, but I have fun. I enjoy it. And I talk about things I really like. So don't do it if you're going to talk about something you don't like, and then also enjoy it, embrace it in a sense, and just don't think about it too much. Like in terms of the camera stuff, I can understand. I don't like listening to myself when I edit, but I know that I'll never have to listen to that specific video again after I edit it, so I don't think about it beyond that day. So yeah, that's what I would say. I would say don't really think about it. Talk about something you really care about, and you don't even have to look at the camera. You don't even have to think about it. You can just ramble on like me about NASCAR, and then you'll be happy. Like if I started rambling on about poems from the 13th century, I would stumble up here. I'd be sitting here like, I don't know. See? Like, I don't know. I can't even come up with something from 13th century poems or whatever century I said. So be passionate. Pick something you really care about and just don't overthink it, I would say. The spotters on the Dylan Chatterbox need to shut up. I'm still a newbie to NASCAR, but a guy who watching NASCAR a year and a half, there's some people who should have tape over their... Yes, the spotter for the 3 is having a bad year. First Richmond, that was dumb. And then this, that was dumb. I don't know if that was the spotter or the crew chief or someone else. Point being, it was dumb. The number 3 communication team. Tighten it up, boys. Like, you gotta contain yourselves from saying too much. Oh my goodness. Oh, that team. Oh my God. Yesterday was a complete disaster. Yeah, base tugboat 2675. I had to make sure I got that right. Yeah, we've kind of talked about a lot of it, but yeah, It's been a wild year. Just a wild year overall. So, why are you being weird? Is it working for everyone else? I don't know if my internet's acting up, but just it suddenly looked like it froze or something on my analytics, and I looked over here. I don't know. If there's ever problems with the live stream, let me know. I'll do my best to get on it quickly, but anyways. Yes. Oh, I know what I was doing now. We're going to go to the Bubba Wallace interview clip real quick. This is from Dustin Long, NBC reporter. Just like that, Andrew, I recommend following him. He's got some really good stuff. But a lot of his stuff's on the lawsuit today. But let me get to the interview. That's what we're here to talk about. All right, here we go. Bubba Wallace. Interview from Bubba Wallace. Okay. Here we go.
Point when half straight went back, right? So I went loose or something broke, and just nursing it. And then he tried to slide me. I'm like, brother, just trying to bide our time and not crash and bring out a caution and jumble up the whole field. So that was it.
So short and sweet comments there. But I mean, as I said, you could see on the video that he's struggling. He's sliding around. On the radio, he said he thought he had a tire going down. The timing of it is where it's suspicious. That's the most suspicious part of it. Now, once again, if they break down this car and they find that something was broken in the car, if he truly had a tire going down, I'm going to say, okay, he did nothing wrong. Like, he's cool. He's clean. But if it ends up being that he indeed had nothing wrong with his car and he truly just tanked to get Bell in, then, well, penalty. 2311, 23 car, some sort of penalty, some way, somehow. Got to penalize him. Marty says, how would you formulate the playoff series if it were up to you and it's compulsory to have one? If it was up to me, no playoffs. But if I have to have some sort of playoff system, so we have 36 races, I'd say at race 20, you chop the field into 10, the top 10 in points, because at that point, no one else is going to win. Like, you can't go from 11th to 1st. And you add 1,000 points to their tally so no one can catch up to them. And you let them run from there. That's about the only way I think I could cheat, by using a playoff system without using a playoff system. It's probably a bad idea, but I tried. Do you think NASCAR will look into Busch's loss of tires possible? No, I didn't even think of that. So no. I mean, they're going to get punished anyways. Those crew members are going to get suspended. Did you see Jordan and the gang going to the courthouse? Yes, Cloudy341 Blade. I saw that edit where someone put the Sopranos theme music over it, and I thought that was funny. I think, in fact, this is a clean account. We can go through here. Dustin Long has a video of it. There it is. There's Michael Jordan, Denny Hamlin, Curtis Polk, Michael Jordan security guy. Okay, where did he go? That's like the head of Michael Jordan's own personal secret service right here. I don't know his name, but he is at Darlington. You could just tell that he was the security guy. Oops, no, I meant to pause that. But yes. Thoughts on manufacturers being fined or penalized points? They should all, except for Ford. I mean, Ford obviously didn't do anything wrong. And yes, you could say, oh, this has happened before. It happens at the super speedways. But the super speedways, they're trying at least. Like, they're pushing people. They're helping their own teammates and whatnot, but they're trying. So, I think I don't know how you send a message to the manufacturers. That's my problem, is that can you directly fine or punish the manufacturer? And also, how much backlash would there be from them? Because they're a big part of this sport. How would they protest maybe if they got fined or penalized and say, oh, this happens all the time, why now? Oh, this is some personal thing, blah, blah, blah. Like, but NASCAR, almost like the Dillon situation, they have to put their foot down. They have to set a new precedent that this is unacceptable. The Austin Dillon thing, we talked about that just a few months ago. And we said if they let Austin Dillon in the playoffs, they open a floodgate of what you can do to get into the playoffs or advance in the playoffs if they let him in. And ultimately, they made the right choice by kicking him out of the playoffs and saying that is not acceptable. They need to do the same thing here. They need to say that you are not allowed to slow down and block opposing teams from trying to pass someone to keep them in the playoffs, or you are not allowed to have a mysterious mechanical failure to help a fellow manufacturer advance by giving them one spot. There has to be a line. There has to be a hard line. And speaking of Chevrolet, this is my last bit of evidence, I guess. They tried to get Shane Van Gisbergen involved. Shane Van Gisbergen. So remember, Blaney ships SVG into Byron so that Blaney can get by them both. Byron got a little bit of damage, but Blaney obviously goes on and he wins the race. He passes him, but this is the middle of the race.
Still 2.5 back. Still 1.5 back. They're side by side. 24 on top, 12 on bottom. One back to 2 wide still. Half back. 20.
I can't remember. I think they might show him getting shoved out of the way. This is Shane Van Gisbergen's audio and onboard, by the way.
24 on top, 12 on bottom. By half. 24 is trying to roll the top. 24 is still tight on you. Outside. Outside. 24. 12 is pushing you. 12 is pushing you. He's going to try to wreck you. Inside.
Okay.
Inside.
So right there, the 12 shoves the 16 into the 24. 12 goes on to make the pass. Well, Chevrolet had a message for Shane Van Gisbergen, who 1 is not even in the playoffs, 2 is currently a part-time driver, and 3 wants nothing to do with this.
1 outside clear. 1 back 24 half. He's inside. Inside 24. Still down there 24. That's P3. He's in. Let's finish, Giant. 42. Still down there. You're clear. Time. We're going ahead. Still out there. 51. Just you in the 12 now. You in the 12. Still out there. Clear. Okay, then don't forget what the 12 missed you earlier, alright?
All right. So that was Shane Van Gisbergen's radio. Someone comes over the airwaves and they tell him, don't forget what the 12 did to you earlier. The 12 shoved him out of line, shoved him into the 24, ran off. Okay? Bump and run. Well, you got to get him back, right? So someone on the 16 radio tells SVG this.
That's a message from Chevrolet. Copy that. 2, 1, green. Everyone rolling at the line now. Still inside 48. Just a 22 in there. Just a 22 inside. Still in there 22. You and him fine.
Okay. So they come over. They say, that's a message from Chevrolet. Thank you for being discreet, Chevrolet. 16 team, 3 team. I mean, the evidence is stacking up against Chevrolet. I mean, this is pretty bad if you ask me. I said it last night, but the integrity of NASCAR. The integrity of the sport is what's bad here. I don't know, man. It's a joke. It's what it is. But that's all the evidence I have. We talked about Shane Van Gisbergen's radio. That's a direct message from Chevy. We listened to Bubba Wallace's interview. We watched Bubba Wallace's onboard. We watched Dylan's onboard along with the radio. Christopher Bell's funny tweet. I think we covered everything we got so far. Back to the comments. I've been slow at this tonight because we've been looking at evidence like a lawyer. Better call Saul. Okay. I actually prayed last night that this is the last year of the format. I love NASCAR very much. I don't want to see the playoffs tarnish the sport entirely. Well, it's been like that for 10 years. So, sorry, Micah. I hate to crush your soul. But when Ryan Newman with 5 top 5s all year, I looked it up last night. When Ryan Newman with 5 top 5s all year made it to the Final Four over Jeff Gordon, who led the points the entire year, Brad Keselowski, who had 7 wins that year, I believe, and Dale Jr., who ran like second in the points all year. Yeah, that was when my instant hatred for this format kicked in. So, yeah, just it's a joke, man. How much would you guys rage if NASCAR made an announcement tomorrow saying the playoff format signed a contract? Well, I don't think the playoff format itself has a contract. NASCAR can change the rules on a year-to-year basis, but if they announced it like that, I'd be very mad. I'd be disappointed as well. I probably wouldn't do anything because, I mean, at this point, I've accepted that it's going to be like this forever because I think they're too stubborn to admit that they were wrong with the format, but what are you going to do? How about we do a bracket-style playoff head-to-head matchups? That's what the in-season tournament's for, Cloudy 341 Blade. This is worse than Spingate. I agree, actually. I think it is worse than Spingate because that was determining the 12th and 13th spots in the playoffs ultimately. Well, 11th and 12th ended up being 13th. And at the end of the day, it's kind of, okay, college football playoff. The college football playoff was 4 teams. 4 teams. The top 4, the 4 best teams in the entire country. And there was always a controversy over who got that 4th and final spot. Because at the end of the day, the top 4 all have a really good shot at winning the national championship. But now we've expanded the playoffs to 12. And that 12th spot is going to be controversial. But at the end of the day, it's kind of less controversial because, let's be real, the 12th spot does not have a realistic shot. Do you really believe that, I don't know, I hate to throw a team under the bus here, that Iowa State is going to go and beat Georgia and go beat Alabama and go beat Ohio State, Oregon? They might have to play all 4 of those teams. Do you really believe that the 12 seed can do that? I could see the 12 seed pulling an upset and it'd be a really cool story, but let's be real. That team's not winning the national championship. Spingate was determining that Iowa State. The Iowa State's not beating Alabama to win the national championship. Well, now what we have for this situation, this was for the 4th spot. This was a Florida State-Alabama situation. Well, maybe that's a bad example. What's another Alabama made it over someone one year that people were all mad about. So Alabama as the 4 seed versus, let's call it Georgia, I guess, for the 4 seed. Okay, that's an argument you want to have because both of those teams at their best can go win a national championship. Christopher Bell and William Byron at their best next week can go win the championship. But if this was for the 12th seed, if this was for the, let's just go through, if this was Austin Cindric versus Daniel Suarez for the last playoff spot, I'd be very mad because race manipulation is bad. But compared to the current situation, it's not as bad. I mean, it's still really bad. Don't get me wrong, but it's still bad. Where was I? Where in the world was I? Chevy has been having team orders since the Parker Retzlaff incident, Daytona, saying letting Kyle Busch. Yeah, that was funny, though. I have no idea why that they tried to stir that into a controversy. It was never controversial. Parker Retzlaff did nothing wrong. Just get rid of the win and you're in rule. Points should decide the championship. I agree, John. Just get rid of it. Just do a points-long season. I don't get it. How come Blaney has been getting pissed off lately, complaining and getting mad so quick? I don't know. He always has spicy radio. The thing I want to know, why is everyone making a big deal? It's over. We got the right outcome, says Demon of Ice Icicle. I mean, the results could change. If they ultimately decide that the race was manipulated in favor of the 24, theoretically they could take the 24 out. I don't know. I don't even know. I think any decision they make on this, if they don't make a decision, it's bad. If they make a decision, it's bad. It's a lose-lose situation for NASCAR. This is so bad that ESPN even reported on... Oh, Jesus Christ. Yep, we're done for. Whenever ESPN talks about NASCAR nowadays, that's always a bad sign. Because they only talk about NASCAR when there's a bad controversy or an all-time great thing happens. Like Chastain's wall ride, they were on top of it, baby. And then Ryan Newman flipping into the fence and almost dying. That was another one. Anything in between, though? Nope. They don't care. They really don't. But if someone almost dies, if someone makes a move that's never been seen before, ESPN's on it. So, yeah, that's not good. Oh, ESPN, how the mighty have fallen. SVG is too much of a sportsman, but he will get in the championship final. I guarantee he makes it look like a normal accident if he doesn't. I hope that they wouldn't have Shane Van Gisbergen do anything like that, because he would come under a lot of scrutiny. So Shane didn't do anything wrong, correct? Yeah, Shane Van Gisbergen did nothing wrong. His team came over the radio and told him, remember what that 12 did to you earlier in the race, aka he got bumped out of the way. And they said that's a direct order from Chevy. And Shane Van Gisbergen literally laughed it off and did nothing. So he's fine. How do I think Shane Van Gisbergen will do in Cup next year? Good question, Sean. I mean, after yesterday, I'm encouraged. I'm not going to sit here and tell you he's going to go win a championship. But let's be realistic. If he can show up and get a top 15 every once in a while, I think a top 25 in the points is realistic. I think he wins at a road course and gets into the playoffs, so he'll end up technically being top 16. But if we're looking at the full season thing, I think he could get top 25. He's in a decent car. He's going to have some road courses out there. He's got Mexico, Coda, Sonoma, Watkins Glen's back in the regular season. So he's got some great opportunities to win. And then the super speedways are also an opportunity to win because anyone can win those things. So, yeah. Marty says he was very impressed with SVG. I was too. I saw him. He ran that whole first stint top 25. I think he started 28th. And he moved up to the top 25 and was there for a bit. He went 2 laps down for a good chunk of the race, actually. And they caught a caution at the right time, or they played the strategy right. Something happened, and all of a sudden they're in the top 15. And I thought they just hadn't pitted yet. And I was waiting for them to pit. And I was like, he's not going to finish top 15. They haven't pitted yet. But I was wrong. He ends up going on and finishing 12th in his Martinsville Cup debut. Pretty neat. Pretty impressive. Joey Logano having a similar season to Jeff Gordon in 05. Gordon had 4 wins, but only 6 top 5s and 9 DNFs. Yeah. Once again, look at this. Look at these statistics. Joey Logano's top 10s. Top 10s. He has 12 top 10s. Reddick, Byron, Bell, Larson, Hamlin. That is 5 guys who equal or have more top 5s than Logano has top 10s. And Blaney and Elliott have 1 less top 5 than Logano has top 10s. And this could be our champion next week. Ran 15th in points all year. But Austin Cindric had to spin with a lap and a half to go at Gateway. It's mind-blowing. It's truly mind-blowing. Has anyone interviewed the number 6 for his frustration being stuck? No, Michael, I talked about that earlier, actually. I said that the 6, if the 17 was the one that was 1 point behind the cutoff, that the 6 would have shipped the 3 and the 1, and he would have passed the 24 to get Buescher in. But because he probably didn't know the situation, then... Oh, did I say Gateway? Apologies. Yeah, I meant Nashville. Austin Cindric won Gateway. Gateway, Nashville. They mixed up in my head. But yeah, no, I meant Nashville. Apologies. I think NASCAR should have the win in your end during the first 26 races, but the final 10 should go by points only. I guess that's better. I guess. I just don't like a system, a playoff system. So, full season points winner gets 175 points, 5 points for leading. Yes, whatever happened to the bonus points for leading laps? I always like that. If you lead a single lap, you get 1 bonus point. If you lead the most, you get like 5. I think that's a great incentive. Bring that rule back. I like that. It's like listening to the fire waiting for... Imagine if NASCAR has a relegation system. All drivers on the bottom keep fighting to keep their spot in NASCAR. That'd be something for sure. Brad Keselowski led the quiet. Yeah, he led 170 laps. That was so random, too. And Blaney was getting all mad that he was racing him. I thought that was funny. Oh. So it's KJ kind of explained it. Get me today, exclamation point tech, I think, was saying that he wants the... so the win in your end continues, but once we get back to those final 10 races, it's just like the old chase for the cup format. Something has to change. I agree, and I'll continue to state it. They won't listen to me because I have no power, and frankly, probably giving me power for that is probably not a good idea. But I'll still voice my opinions on here, as always, because I do that a lot. Yeah. But yes, get me today, exclamation point, brings up a great point. It's 6 o'clock. I am not making my Monday picks today. I will have a video Wednesday for trucks, Thursday for Xfinity, Friday for Cup, and I'll make my predictions. But I want to hear you. What do you have to say? Which of... how do you... Is there a playoff option anymore? No, I have to zoom it myself. Okay, fine, I'll zoom it myself. Good grief. Okay, that's good. Which of... Oh my goodness, it's disappearing on me. Can you see that? Is that good? I think that's good. Which of these 4 guys, Ryan Blaney, Joey Logano, Tyler Reddick, and William Byron, which one of these guys wins the NASCAR Cup Series championship? Let me know in the comments. Who do you think is going to win the championship? And if you think someone else is going to win the race, throw that in there. Last year we had Chastain win the race, but Blaney win the championship. Get me today, exclamation point, says Reddick. Cloudy341 Blade says Reddick just for the storyline. That would be a really funny storyline. Yeah, you can't deny that. That would be an extremely funny storyline. David says William Byron. KJ says Reddick. Denver, you want me to make your picks? Ooh. No, because what if people think that's actually my picks? What if it's a trick? What if you're tricking me? I won't fall for it. Denver, I believe in you. You got a 25% shot, my friend. Marty says Logano for the win. I don't like him, but Penske scares me. Yeah, Penske's going to be a popular pick. I think Blaney will be the most popular. In terms of popularity, I think it's going to go 1. Like, I'm talking about, like, who people are going to pick, not the actual... This is not an actual prediction. This is the popularity contest. Who will more people pick? I think Blaney will be the most picked. I think Reddick will be second because of the storyline. Logano third because of Penske and because of the storyline if he wins the championship. Byron the least. Trucks Heim says, "Get me today!" Exclamation point. Let's go to the Xfinity. Here's your final four for Xfinity. Get yourself a good look. Make yourself a pick. Trucks. Here's your final four. Get yourself a look. Make yourself a pick. I'll make my picks later in the week, but let's read through some more of these. All Logano championships were undeserved. Here's my thing about Logano. Is Logano should have won a couple. I think it was like 2015 and 2016. If it was the season-long format, if it was the chase for the Cup, he would have won a couple. So in a sense, his undeserved titles have kind of made up for it. But yeah, that's all I'll say. Michael Crane says, Byron for the win. Anyone but Penske. All right. Jamie says, Logano, Blaney, Byron, and Reddick in that order. Get me today! Exclamation point. Text says, Allgaier for Xfinity. Trucks for Heim. Micah says, Joey Logano to win. He's had the most time to prepare for the championship and has a lot of experience. Sean says, anyone but Hill, and said, ooh, at the end. All right. Base Tugboat 2675 says Allgaier wins his first Xfinity championship. KJ says 7 will be the lucky number for Saturday. His 7th championship for appearance will lead to his first title. Duke Chronic says go Little Gator number 7. David says Justin Allgaier. Get me to, there's a lot of Allgaier picks here. Allgaier seems to be popular. Denver says Eckes, Reddick, Custer. Supercars champion Brock Freeney. Adelaide has a way of screwing up the championship leader. We'll talk about that more after Phoenix, by the way. Off-season streams, yes. Someone asked that earlier. But yeah, basically, yeah, I'll do off-season live streams. I got one I'm going to announce next week. You might have to lose one before you can win one, and Byron might get it. It's a possibility. I mean, it's such a crapshoot that any storyline's a possibility. SVG for the popular fan vote overall. He's brought NASCAR down under. Yeah, the most popular driver poll's open for all 3 series. So Shane Van Gisbergen fans, go vote SVG for most popular driver in the Xfinity series. Next year, he'll be up for it for the Cup series. I think Logano deserved the 2022 championship. Elliott was good that year, but he faded. Well, that's the thing is that Elliott, yes, he did not have a great playoffs. I agree with you there, but he would have, in a season-long format, he would have clinched the championship with like 2 races to go. He had such a big lead. And Logano didn't really heat up until like those last 6 races. So, yeah. AJ Allmendinger for the win, says Sean. Heim wins the championship, says Jamie. Trucks championship will be just as bad as last year. It depends on what Taylor Gray does, but I guess Eckes kind of set himself up there. He didn't really have. Okay, we didn't even talk about the truck race. Yeah, I mean, he didn't even have to do that. Like, Eckes was going to make it regardless if Gray went on to win. And honestly, all due respect to Taylor Gray, if you're Eckes, would you rather have Majeski, who's great at short tracks, in that Final Four, or would you rather have Taylor Gray? Why are you messing around with Taylor Gray? Like, why are you pissing someone off that's not going to be in it? Like, that was just, I don't know, man. I don't know. I really don't know, man. Am I going to watch any supercars? Sean, I will, that's a part of the announcement next week, actually, for our live stream. One of our first off-season live streams. I will keep you updated, but after Phoenix, I will let you know. Speaking of most popular driver, I think Kyle Larson might have passed Chase Elliott. Guess we'll figure out. Can you show the start? Oh, okay, yeah, I can. Phoenix schedule. So, volume. I knew that was going to happen. The truck races. I don't know if this is Eastern time or if this is Central. I don't know if my computer's set up. Hold on. What? I think this is Eastern time. Yeah, because I'm in the Central time zone and it says 2. So this is all Eastern time. Eastern times starts over here. Here's the Eastern time zone. There's your start times. Even during the Winston Cup era, the championship most of the time came down to the final race. And that's what's so annoying is this next-gen car has made the competition so much closer. And you can finish first one week and you can finish 18th the next. And it would just, like the championship, I think, between Elliott and Bell this weekend would be like 5 points between them. So, what we could have had. And I think last year would have come down. I think actually last year, I think Byron would have been not mathematically clinched, but essentially clinched heading into Phoenix. And then I think I said 2022, Elliott would have clinched with like 2 to go. 2021, Larson. 2020, Harvick. So yes, you're going to have the occasional blowout. You know, look at F1. It's very similar to them. They have a bunch of blowouts. Verstappen's dominated the league for a few years, but look at 2021 and how memorable that was despite the circumstances. Despite the circumstances at the end there, look at how memorable that season was and how iconic and how legendary it is. And I mean, NASCAR, back in the Winston Cup, one of the most popular title fights was 1992 with Kawicki, Davey Allison, and Bill Elliott. 3 guys going into the last race with a shot at the championship. But now we're not going to have that anymore because it's forced and it's fake. What do I think the big RCR news? I don't know. I always forget about that. So I don't know. I wish they still did the championship race at night. Yeah. Or at sunset at least. Willie B won the 500 and the 24. Yeah, the 24 could win the Daytona 500 and the championship in the same year. I don't think that's been done since Johnson in 13. Because Dale Jr. won the 514, no championship. 515 was Logano, no championship. 16 was Hamlin, no championship. 17 was Kurt Busch, no. 18 was Dillon, no. 19 Hamlin, 20 Hamlin, no. 21 was McDowell, no. 22 was Cindric, no. 23 was Stenhouse, no. And this year was so Byron can do something that hasn't been done since 2013. Win a Daytona 500 and a championship in the same season, and it's 2024, and he's number 24. Am I convincing myself to pick Byron here? I don't know. Guess you'll have to figure out on Friday. Will a spoiler win at Phoenix? I mean, it's possible, I guess. I don't really focus on the other cars this week. It's all about the championship. Joey won the Clash in the championship in 22. Yeah, but that's not the Daytona 500. It's the Daytona 500. Well, yeah, of course all the champions had to race their butts off for it, but I don't know. I'm almost tired of it at this point. I don't even know. In 2022, someone who ran like 10. Yeah, I mean, I'm not denying that Logano was. I'm not saying that he was bad. He was probably the second most deserving guy that year. But I'm just saying, if you look at the framework of this system from 2014 to present day, and you line up every single champion, I think there's like all but 3 that you could line up. I thought we were done with the rain today. Something shiny. But you could line up and say someone else was a more deserving champion, and I hate that argument. So if we just do a season long, that's the way to determine the most deserving. How do you vote for SVG? Okay. How do you get to the most popular driver vote? I guess I'm doing a tutorial now. So you go to NASCAR.com and you scroll somewhere down here. Got to be honest, I don't know where. So you keep scrolling. They got information, they got all this stuff, and you know, other things. I don't know. But somewhere you'll find the most popular driver. Okay, maybe it's under news. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. You're gonna have to keep going here. Keep going, keep going. Okay, we've reached the end. All right, is there a search bar? Podcast, racing reference, NASCAR International. Where is this? Okay, here it is. Most popular driver. Oh, I'm an idiot. Search. It doesn't want to search. Gonna have to give this a minute. Oh, of course. Oh, the most dreaded. My goodness. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Oh, here we go. Is it training harder? All right, so here you go. Here's how you get to it. I guess I could put the link in the comments. There you go. That's how you vote for the most popular driver. What? YouTube is not receiving enough video. Maintain. Okay. It says I don't have smooth enough connection. Well, it. Okay. What time is it? Oh my, we've gone on for a while here. Just learned that Hendrick drivers won the most races for 4 straight years now. Is that accurate? Larson this year, Byron last year, Elliott 22, Larson 21. 21, 22, 23. Oh yeah, that is 4 straight years. Wow, I didn't realize that. Oh yeah, it is raining. Well, I could hear it. I wasn't going to deny it, but you know. Anyways, I've been getting sidetracked a lot the last few minutes. Larson has to be catching. I see that a lot. A lot of people are saying Larson. I just think, I don't know why, but Elliott just seems to have a pull for the most popular. Well, all right. I think I'm going to wrap it up here. We made some Monday picks. Well, I should say you made some Monday picks. You picked the Truck Series, the Xfinity Series, and the Cup Series champions. Once again, this week I'll do my full preview and predictions video. Wednesday we got trucks. Thursday we got Xfinity. Friday we got the Cup Series preview. Friday night the Truck Series championship. Saturday night the Xfinity championship. Sunday afternoon the Cup championship. We talked about a lot today. A lot of controversy, a lot of drama. We had to pull up radio evidence for the first time ever, I think, in the history of the Monday after. So we made some history tonight in a sense. But thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this live stream. Jamie, Marty, get me today, ! Tech. I appreciate your kind words. I appreciate you guys always showing up, asking great questions. And yeah, I'll see you guys next